Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Alan Cohen. I know that I often say this when we, especially in the start of a week, when we have an awesome teacher's work to share for the week, that I often fall in love with these teachers again and again, and Alan Cohen is one of those. You really would do yourself a favor to do a search for Alan Cohen, see what books he wrote, or even just search for Alan Cohen quotes. There is so much beautiful wisdom to find there. Good morning, Stefan. Good morning, Grania. Good morning, Danae. Good morning, Sun Marie. Thank you so much, Sun Marie. Have a beautiful day along with me. It's awesome having you all here. Thank you. Let's get into today's message. Anami, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Today's journey highlights one of our most fundamental survival tools. One of our most fundamental survival tools is the masks that we wear. And it's very easy to look at the idea of wearing a mask with some kind of judgment. And a mask could almost be any kind of coping mechanism. And coping mechanisms themselves get criticized anytime we speak about a coping mechanism. But if we really understand what lies beneath that, a coping mechanism is just something that makes us feel like we can cope, when obviously we feel like we can't. Masks are a fundamental part of our human makeup. That when we feel scared, when we feel that we might get rejected, we'll try and show up in some kind of a different way. We might talk differently, look differently, so that we don't get this rejection that we're scared of. It's not something that deserves any kind of judgment or criticism, but it is something that we should recognize and slowly do our inner work so that we need less masks to feel protected. Let's get into today's message. Alan Cohen says, "You are in integrity when the life you are living on the outside matches who you are on the inside." It's a beautiful quote. I'll read it again. "You are in integrity when the life you are living on the outside matches who you are on the inside." He's clearly saying, when you're not wearing a mask and making yourself look different to the world outside than what you actually feel on the inside. I love the clarity in this quote so much, that we are in integrity only when our inside matches the outside, when what we show the world is the same as what we are like on the inside. Anthony, thank you, dude. Good morning. Good to see you. But this word integrity could also bring along with it the burden of judgment if we feel that this inner-outer congruence is something that we lack, something that we can't get right. The wearing of masks is a tool in our survival toolkit, and we are likely to reach for a mask whenever we feel that our true face would not be acceptable and would get us rejected. Understand that it is a scared part of you that has the need to mask up in order to feel safe. And that it is this scared part of you that needs your love the most. Your complete acceptance of yourself decreases the need for acceptance from others. I'm going to read that to you again. The more we hear it, the more it makes sense. The more we hear it, the more we understand it. But then it needs time to soak into our bodies so that every cell in our body can know this as well. Your complete acceptance of yourself decreases the need of acceptance from others. In the presence of your own love, the need for a mask becomes lessened. So one more thought from Alan Cohen. He says, "Wouldn't it be powerful if you fell in love with yourself so deeply that you would do just about anything if you knew that it would truly make you happy?" This is precisely how much life loves you and wants you to nurture yourself. The deeper you love yourself, the more the universe will affirm your worth. Then you can enjoy a lifelong love affair that brings you the richest fulfillment from the inside out. When I send out this email just a little bit later today after meditation, please make sure you read it again. I really think this is a gift from Alan Cohen. Being more authentic and standing in your true integrity doesn't necessitate you ripping off masks like a sticky band-aid. Every step you take towards acceptance of yourself is another step further away from needing validation from anyone else. Take the baby steps, even though it feels like an unendingly slow process. And one by one, the old masks will simply lose their value. Everything that scares you is just something that is afraid and in need of your love. If you're ready, let's go there. You can close your eyes and we'll take the first few big breaths together. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep breath in. And out. Big breath in. And out. One more deep breath in. And let it all just float away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. While you continue your full body breathing, rising with every inhale and slowly falling with every exhale, we'll have a quick conversation about masks again. It's very easy to see when we look through our own human history that there would be a time where being an individual human on their own would be extremely dangerous, very difficult to survive. In a world where gathering food was not so easy, wild animals would pose a threat, and other humans would certainly be dangerous too. A human on their own would struggle to be safe. Built deep into our psyche is the very need to be accepted by our tribe. And the sense of being rejected feels incredibly scary to this day. Wearing a mask or somehow figuring out how to make ourselves acceptable to the humans around us is a fundamental coping mechanism we all have. It does come at a cost, which is what Alan Cohen speaks of when he says, when you really are in integrity, is when your inside and outsides match, when you're not showing the world a different face than what you're experiencing on the inside. Our focus on today's meditation, even though we'll walk through our own journey backwards and see the moments where we felt the need to wear a mask, the focus for today is to understand that there is a scared part of you that had the need for that mask in order to feel accepted. And it is this scared part of you, we could also call it a scared inner child, that needs your acceptance the most, that needs to be held by you the most. And the more we find that we have complete acceptance for every part of ourselves, the less it's necessary to feel acceptance and validation from every human around us. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch and adjust and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward. Roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. You can lean your upper body over to the left and also lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as much as we are able to do that right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, and this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, then with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into you and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. Feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels comfortable, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, the reminder is that we'll take a journey to understand some of the masks that we have been wearing. And maybe we don't wear them anymore. And the reason we do this is not to point a finger at those people that made us feel not good enough, but to understand something about ourselves and understand which parts of us might need our love the most. Take your next big breath. We'll take it all the way back to our youngest memories of our caregivers, our parents. Can you remember any moment where your parents or your caregivers made it clear to you that the way you are is not good enough, not acceptable? And that if you wanted to be acceptable, you would have to show up differently. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, see if you remember that need to make yourself be seen in a different way. Take your next big breath. The point of this exercise is to understand that within you somewhere is or possibly is, an inner child that still feels the effect of that rejection. an inner child with whom you might have to have a conversation and let him or her know that your caregivers were humans just like any other, and flawed just like any other, and sometimes got things wrong just like any other humans. And that you see this inner child in a different light. That you have complete acceptance for this inner child. We're going to take another step forward in time. Might be a similar age, or perhaps a little older. Bring to your mind experiences with other young kids. Might be siblings, might be cousins, might be the kids in your neighborhood. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, could you perhaps remember an experience with another young child where it was made clear to you that the way you are is not acceptable, and that you'd have to show up differently if you wanted to be accepted? Take your next big breath. Understand that it's possible that somewhere in you, that too is an inner child that still feels the effect of that rejection. And when it comes up, when you see it, your work is to have a conversation with that inner child and let him or her know that humans all make mistakes and humans have opinions that are all over the place. Those opinions really don't matter that much. What's important is that you have acceptance for this inner child. You can open your arms and hold this child while your heart is full of love. We'll keep taking small steps forward in time. Might be a similar age, might be slightly older. Can you remember an experience with a school teacher, where a school teacher made it very clear to you the way you are is not acceptable, and that if you wanted to be accepted, you'd have to show up differently? See if you can remember such an experience. Take your next big breath. If you have had such an experience, there might be a part of you, a child within, that still feels the effect of that rejection. And if it does come up for you, your work is to have a conversation with that scared part of you. Let him know, let her know that there is no rejection from you. A very influential time of our lives is with our teenage peers. A time in our lives when we are very actively trying to build our identity. And often in those interactions, we carry the wounding for a long time. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, can you remember an interaction with a teenage friend who made it clear to you that the way you are is not acceptable, and that if you wanted to be accepted, you'd have to show up differently? Take your next big breath. If anything like this ever comes up for you, the reminder from this meditation is of the kind of conversations you might need to have with this part of you, an inner teenager that felt the sting of rejection and tried to figure out, how do I make myself acceptable? And your conversation with that part of you needs to be a conversation that shows, I am the one who accepts you. You are home in my heart. Our childhood years have the biggest impact on how we see ourselves in the world. But it doesn't quite stop that. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring to your mind your adult relationships. Some of them might be romantic relationships, or perhaps even just platonic relationships. Can you find an example in your adult life where it was made clear to you that the way you are is not acceptable? And if you want to be accepted, you need to show up differently. Take your next big breath. It's possible that there might be an adult version of you too that needs to have this conversation, that needs to hear from you that you have acceptance for every part of you, that people's reactions come from their own wounding, from their own level of understanding or misunderstanding, that you are able to open your arms and bring every part of you into your heart. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness gently slips in and settles in every cell of your being. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. We have the need for a mask or to make ourselves seem somehow different. When we fear that, our true face will get us rejected. Cohen says, you are in integrity when the life you are living on the outside matches who you are on the inside. But do understand that that is not some kind of a judgment that says, if you're not 100% authentic, this is just another way of not being good enough. This is more like a peek behind the curtain that shows what could be available to you if you do your work to heal your wounds, and if you become able to live your life with no masks. There's a lot less pressure then. And you'll find there's actually a lot more acceptance then. Understand that it is a scared part of you that has the need to mask up in order to feel safe. And that it is this scared part of you that needs your love the most. Your complete acceptance of yourself decreases the need of acceptance from others. in the presence of your own love, the need for a mask becomes lessened. Alan Cohen says, wouldn't it be powerful if you fell in love with yourself so deeply that you would do just about anything if you knew that it would make you happy? This is precisely how much life loves you and wants you to nurture yourself. The deeper you love yourself, the more the universe will affirm your worth. Then you can enjoy a lifelong love affair that brings you the richest fulfillment from the inside out. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this journey of understanding and building an awareness of our own need to mask up in order to feel accepted. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that there's no need to rip off masks and feel like we're walking into the world naked. We can take small steps. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning to understand that it is not the ripping off of masks that brings healing. It's the conversation with a scared part of me that brings healing. Take a deep breath in. Thanks for the opportunity to see so clearly. And when those inner children feel less scared, there simply is less need to wear a mask. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. And thank you so much for all of the birthday wishes. Good morning, Michelle, and thank you. Good morning, Stephen. Always love seeing you popping in from your side of the world. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Sunmuddy. Thank you, Danae. Thank you, Anami. Trying to remember who else was back there. Have a beautiful day. I hope you find yourself slowly becoming more friendly with whatever masks you're wearing or used to wear. I think that's the first step, is becoming friendly towards the part of ourselves that feel like it needs to cope. Softening our own inner judgment and inner criticism. And as soon as we are more friendly with the worst parts of ourselves, everything in our system becomes a little bit softer. And it's just a little bit easier to deal with all of that inner world. Have a beautiful day. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.